When I am reading Paul's epistles, I notice often at the end of the epistle there is this little section that's this kind of laundry list of things, greetings that he might be bringing or things that he kind of wants to say. It's sort of like when my parents were leaving us alone, they would have this list of things. But please remember these things while we're gone. And this video is a little bit like that. I am about to go on my annual vacation. My ministry years kind of goes from August through to the end of June, and I usually take July off as vacation. And so I have a short little laundry list, not the things to do or things to remember, but things that I'm thinking about here at the end of this particular ministry season. And the first is this. I am in a space that may be unfamiliar. It's not the sort of usual blue background that is often in my videos. I'm at Redeemer Anglican in North Burrows. It's in Avalon. They have offered our space to us, to our staff, while we are waiting to move into our new building. We purchased that building earlier in June, and we moved out this week of the space that we had been renting. And we are now waiting to do some renovations that will take a few months before we can actually move into the new space. And we have been given this generous offer of space for our staff meetings on Tuesdays to use this space at Redeemer in North Burrows. One of the great things about being an Anglican is we are kind of related to a broader family. We're not just a single congregation. There's this family of congregations here in Pittsburgh and in some parts of the country currently. And we are a family together. And all of those congregations in different ways contribute to our common life together. And this is a particular way that Redeemer North Burrows has been graciously able to contribute to our common life and give us space. So it makes me happy for hospitality and that instinct for hospitality, which is so important, but also makes me happy to be an Anglican, that we're part of this broader family, and I'm really grateful for that, for Redeemer and all the congregations that contribute to our common life in many, many different ways. That's the first thing. The second thing really has a little bit to do with the reality of coming to a final space, not in the true final sense of the word, but in the scriptures. As I think about our space that we're going to be moving into, the scriptures, there are these seasons of journey that we kind of see. Certainly Israel, kind of 40 years in the desert. They're leaving Egypt. They're coming to the Promised Land, and there's this time that they're moving and they're going to different places and uprooting and going to the next place. I think also the overarching arc of Scripture begins in the garden but ends in this city of this kind of the journey at some point comes to an end. It's a good end. We come to the Promised Land, or we come to the New Jerusalem. And while I'm not comparing the lovely little building that we bought to the New Jerusalem in any sort of large way, the reality of having been a diocese that hasn't had a kind of a permanent home for at least 15 years is part of that. We've been in this journey of, while we're here, we're going to move here, we're going to move here. And now we're kind of coming to this place where we're going to be in a place, we're coming to the end of the arc of that, at least that part of that journey. And I'm really grateful to God for that, because I think ultimately we're not always going to be sojourners. There is an invitation in the scriptures to come to rest either in the Promised Land, rest in the New Jerusalem, and fundamentally rest in Jesus Christ himself. And so I think about that as we come to this new place in a few months, as we move into it. And relatedly, I suppose, the last thing I want to say is really about rest. Again, as I come to the end of this ministry year that has had interesting challenges, including the upheaval and trying to find a new place for the diocesan office, I come to the end of it tired. And because I am not infinite and I can't keep going forever, I'm not an Energizer bunny, I need rest. And I look forward tremendously. I'm so grateful for this time of rest. God has designed us to be active, to work, to produce, and he's designed us with that there should be seasons and rhythms and realities of rest. That's how we are meant to be culturally. We always want to go, 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 go. And my inclination personally is always wanting to go, 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 go. It is not God's calling to us. It is not good for us. It is not true and holy ultimately. So as I come to my season of rest this summer, I want to commend whatever rest you may have yourself this summer, whether it is just a regular Sabbath or actual vacation like we will be taking Tamara and I with our family in different ways. Rest is a gift from God. It is in Him we find the fullness of what rest is. And in rest, we are restored so that we may continue to serve in a holy and a healthy way throughout our lives. I want to ask the Lord's blessing upon whatever rest that you have throughout this summer, that you would know Jesus and His life in the middle of that.